Hello guys, welcome back. Today I'm coming with a new content and something new to explore about India's budget of 2020. So before we talk about the key concepts and key ideas of what India has delivered in the speech, uh, I wanted to start with the new decade of India's budget, and it's gone around the longest speech of 159 minutes delivered by Nirmala Sitharaman as our finance minister of India. And when we start up with budget, it cuts through from our tax slabs, which is first introduced in the budget, and talking about the key points from before to now is that they have cut down the income tax for the people who earn around 5 lakhs. So people who have a salary of 5 lakhs doesn't need to pay tax, and above that they're gone 5 to 7.5 lakhs is 10%. Old rate was 20%. 7.5 to 10 lakhs was 15% now. Old rate was 20%, and 10 to 12.5 lakhs was 20% now and 30% before, and 12.5 to 15 lakhs was 25%, now it's 30%, and 50 lakhs and above is 30%, which is the same as before. So what is the government trying to do is that the middle income earners to have a more of disposable income after the tax has been deducted and after the cost, which they can save more, and they have moved into people who have high income earners of 15 to 20 lakhs who has the capability to pay more tax. So you can see that is when the tax slab has been introduced, it's more of a progressive income tax made for the people who have high income to pay more and the low income to pay less, and the ones who are of middle class below to to take away the tax, which was there before and it's continued as of now. But the only changes made from the last budget to this budget is the middle income earners to pay a tax slab less than before. I don't know if this is going to be a good sign or a bad sign. As per point of view, is that economy of so many million crores people living in the country are repaying uh, a tax to the government in a really small proportion, and introducing middle income earners to pay less is a good sign in terms of money to be floated into the economy easily, where the velocity of money which exchanges between each and every person will increase as people, as you know, of the case of many people having black money, not showing the amount, will now take their income from it and try to spend more. uh, yeah, the ones which is not shown will not be shown, but as of now, people will try to spend more as the income tax slabs have been dropped down. So because the main reason through it is the more of disposable income for the middle income earners, which as will be used by the people, and more velocity of the money will be shifted throughout the people. So this will increase the economy's power of people spending more, and the and another factor to be noted down is that many people will try to save more due to the new income tax slabs. So that's also a good sign for the economy. And another thing is that they have taken the slabs of dividend distribution tax. So before I go through what they have done, I'll explain you what does a dividend distribution tax do. Basically, a dividend distribution tax is applicable for a company who has a business needs to pay dividends to the shareholders, which do not need to be paid now. So before they had around 15% to 20% to be, it depends upon the company, but average of 15 to 20% that pay has been paid to the shareholders of the company. And the main reason throughout taking out a dividend distribution tax is the people who are non-resident investors of the other countries. Either it can be Australia, France, Hong Kong, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Singapore. Many countries invest in India because it's a population with million crores of people, and many educated, many talented people around the country, and more of business has been opened through. So investors spend in this thing recently of Amazon, of Jeff Bezos investing around 1 billion in India. So taking out a DTD helps the investors around other countries to spend on the Indian market. And also they have projected uh, wait, yeah, so that's the main reason. And I think so the they say that revenue will forego around 24 crores. Not more data on it which is given, but that's what they have shown. And they've said another factor is the non-resident Indians who live outside India to be taxed on tax-free countries. Okay, I've researched about this, and the reason was the reason behind is that the people who are earning in their own currency, they won't be taxed. But once they invest in India, and how does they do is that if you have an NRI account, which many all or mostly all of the Indians do have an NRI account in India, and when they put money or they save money through it, and they obviously know which country they are from. That's how the taxing system works when the people who are of their countries. I'm not sure why have they done this into more depth. Main reason there is that they can collect more tax from the people who live outside India. And uh, and uh, and new laws that people who are counted as non-resident Indians who are 240 days in a year considered, yeah, who stays out of India for 240 days. Yeah. So they are considered as non-resident Indians, and people who live in a tax-free countries will be taxed now. So they have another source of income for the government to get from taxpayers, because the data which they show is that many Indians live in many tax-free countries are Gulf countries, and like many Indians live over there, and if they earn a higher amount of money, which they send back to India, who their family lives over there, they can earn a huge revenue from that. So that's a good sign for the government, but a bad sign for the people income, because they don't want to send money to the people. They don't want to send. They want to send money to their family, but they don't want to get that money to be taxed. So that's one thing to be noted on account. But as per the rules, they are not taxed on what they earn in their own country. So whatever they send and whatever they invest and sell and save, that will be taxed. So that's something which the people will will be disappointed with the system bought in. But as for the government, that's another source of income. And another factor is what's cheap after the budget has been introduced is raw sugar necessity, uh, and all the newsprint and lightweight coated paper that's gone for cheap in the budget. Skimmed milk, agro animal based products. So basically all the goods which is of a basic necessity, and milk is needed as a necessity. Raw sugar is needed for everyone, and main reason is that the people who are very poor, they don't get any they struggle. Sugar is needed for the diet, and milk is needed for the diet for people who are in poverty. So when that's going to cheap, and this is a basic necessity that's been provided for cheap, and yeah, that's good because that's needed in your diet. And newsprint and coated paper, that's also a necessity for people nowadays. What's gone for expensive is all the demerit goods of cigarettes and tobacco. So all these goods have been taxed high, and if they're addicted to it, they'll buy more and they can earn revenue from it. And what else? Refrigerators, automobile, furniture, footwear, crude palm oil, tableware, kitcheneries, imported purchase products, and air conditioners. These are the factor. These are the things which have gone expensive in our budget. And another factor will go now is from goods to infrastructure, to fund 6,500 in project across sectors under NIP, 1.5 lakh crores for transport infrastructure, which they are going to spend their money, 22 crores allocated to fund infrastructure finance companies, monetize 12 lots of highway bundles before 2024, and 100 more airports under the Udan scheme. Okay, so these are the factors. So let's skim through from the yeah. So they have set to monetize 12 lots of highway bundles before 2024. So travel becomes the ease to other states in India. So if they uh, monetize, yeah, 12 lots of highways, yeah, so 12 lots of that's traveling is going to be easy by 2024. More of roads, more of highways to be built. uh, that's a good sign for our country. And another thing is that they're spending 1.5 lakh crores for transport infrastructure already spent on Ahmedabad to Mumbai bullet train, which is an ongoing product, and transport infrastructure related to more of bus stops, more of metro rails, everything to come around India, and 100 airports. So other states to build airports, ease of traveling, that also helps India. How all these helps India? If you have a better infrastructure, more airports, more people coming into the country, more people investing in the country, more people get work, which is employment. When you build infrastructure, it creates more jobs. That's one factor. Another factor is when you build more better infrastructure, it attracts foreign investors. So these are all the factors which affect. So something which is taken care of, and infrastructure development of infrastructure in India is really needed. One is for the ease of traveling, one is for investors, one is for employment, and another factor is for a slowly development of country to shape what it will be in 2024. And main source of income and main source of people who work under agriculture is a lot, and they're trying to double farmers income. And setting solar grid, that's something of a good sign. Using renewable resources, using resources which we can get is really good. And and India is the only country which is looking through a lot of solar projects. It's already implemented in many Chennai companies, many Bangalore companies, uh, and other country companies investing on solar project, and something which is going off a really good structure in India to develop this thing. And what else? Yeah, Minister to give 1.6 lakh crores, Ministry of Rural Development to 1.3 lakh crores. So these are the things which is done in the income of farmers. And talking about education, which is also taken care of, to yeah. So in terms of education, which is taken care of by the government, when which is really necessary for the people to provide poverty to go to have proper education. So they're building, investing more on uh, schools. And wait for more information. mm, yeah, so they invested 99.3 crores on skill development and quality education, and which outlays the factor of two things. Is in skill development, they're talking about people to be more skilled in the sectors of manufacturing industry, which is uh, needed for for the government. 45% agriculture is of high, but if a country needs to grow further, they need to develop tertiary sectors and secondary sectors, which is needed for the country. Because if you have tertiary sectors and secondary sectors, then you can manufacture more products, then you can make more products, and that's more source of income for the people. Yeah, farmers also earn a lot, but tertiary sectors, manufacturing sectors is of uh, needed for the country. One reason is that when you have tertiary sectors, because product manufacturing is necessary, tertiary sectors of doctors, pilots, you'll have better services in India to provide that. So that will also improve, when you have more of these skilled workers in India, that helps India's economy to grow. And another factor, the terms of economic development will happen in India when you have all these factors, when people go to manufacturing and tertiary sectors. But we should not turn into the equation that agriculture needs to be shorter, needs to reduce. That also needs to be taken care, but people should also allocate more into manufacturing and tertiary sectors. People who are been studying and educated and skill development, many of them are into skill development because many of the Indian people lack skills which is needed for the work. Due to that, we can see a lot of employment in the country happening. So that's also been taken factor, and they've invested more on that. So these are the overall factors which the government has taken care of, and I hope there's going to be a change in growth in few months, and what will happen in the span of 1 year. The only thing which I think is a disadvantage is that one factor is that how well the economy is going to cope after the change in tax slabs, which I think it may go into a problem. And another factor is that they've spent a lot on doubling farmers' income. Will that reach to the people properly, to all the farmers properly? That also needs to be taken care of. And the third thing is that the investment in education and skill development. We have seen Make in India, which has happened of not going. It's going and it's going well, but it's not going to a huge success. So how that has happened? My main factor, which I would want to indicate of Indian economy, is that uh, is tax slabs and getting money from tax the main factor which they're looking into? And another factor is that how many foreign investors, skill development, giving money and providing them will develop. So these are the questions which will be answered in the few months and by the year before they budget the 2022 budget. So these are the factors which they look in. So main key points which has happened through from all these changes is that a lot of foreign investment will happen. A lot of people will spend money and save money due to the new tax system. Education and skill development, and education and skill development will now have more of people employed in their specific work. So to talk in terms of economic terms, uh, you can see in the circle flow of income that more money will be flowed from the household. This thing, materials being cheap, many people were investing, exports, imports, all these factors will be employed, and this thing will happen throughout the economy. So let's hope it goes into a new year. Thank you. If you actually learned a lot from this, please do like and subscribe the channel.